you guys here to CHEST. My name is Chad Jackson. I'm the Senior Director of Live Learning, Clinical Simulation, and Innovation here. This is our center. We're so happy to have you guys here. This really is a culmination of a dream for me that goes back a little over 3 years now, when Ryan still had a fro, if you can imagine that. We were sitting together as we were planning, helping to plan SimGHOSTS for San Antonio, and I talked to him about the center that we wanted to build, and that I wanted to host SimGHOSTS at the center when we had it open. So this is really the realization of that dream, and of course it takes a village. It's not just me. A really special shout out to all of the team here at CHEST that worked with the SimGHOSTS board and the planning committee to put this on for you guys. A lot of people working tirelessly on our end to help out. I want to shout out to Susan Harris, who's our event coordinator for this here at the college, and to my entire staff, Lily, Alita, Josh, John, and Greg, who are helping out so much. So want to just tell you how grateful we are to have you guys here. We're very proud of the center, obviously. It's a beautiful facility, $26 million in the making, 45,000 square feet. We've got the auditorium, which we can split in less than 3 minutes into two, as you see here. We've got 6 fully equipped ICU rooms, simulation rooms, with a 165-foot trough that we can run electrical and mechanical underneath. And of course our 8 training rooms, which you guys are going to experience. We can multitask and move around within just a few minutes with integrated AV. We also have some dry and wet labs that we use for molding, casting, electronics works, and things like that. So we're really excited for you guys to see the center. We're excited to be a part of this with SimGHOSTS, and we're very proud too. We did get SSH accreditation, so we're the first medical specialty society ever to get SSH accreditation for our simulation program. We're pretty excited about that too. So for those of you that always ask me, yes, we'll need some techs for CHEST. We'll be in Austin this year, so if you guys want to come work for us in our simulation center, we set up a temporary sim center, 25,000 square feet on site wherever we go. And so we employ usually about 6 to 8 sim techs from SimGHOSTS who come along as groupies and work with us at CHEST. So if you want to, let me know, track me down, and we'll let you do it. But thanks for being here. We're really excited you guys are here. And thank you for being part of this with us here at CHEST.
To present to you this morning's star attraction. Here they are, back after their exclusive tour of Australia. Won't you welcome Lance and Ryan, the Blues Brothers.
We'd especially like to thank Chad Jackson and Susan Harris for helping all of us from around the world join together here today. We'd also like to take special note of all the vendors that have been participating with us here, especially Level 3 Healthcare, Eli Medical, and Laerdal. You know, it doesn't matter if you're from medicine. It doesn't matter if you're from nursing, IT, AV, the military, or EMS. There's a little bit of SimTech in all of us. You, me, them, everybody. So folks, we're putting the SimGHOSTS back together. All right, thank you so much all of you for joining us. Ryan's got a lot of announcements we need to get through, and then we're going to have an amazing 3 days of activities. I know we got folks from around the world here, and I can't wait to hang out with each and every one of you. So let's get started.
Yeehaw. All right, welcome to everyone. Like Lance just said, I have a big long list of things to talk about. But just at the top, I just want to say I love this event because we can do stupid stuff like that and everyone thinks it's cool. They laugh with us instead of at us. So first, at the very top, I really need to thank all the staff here at Chess. Susan Harris, Heather Nash, Chad Jackson, Chris, Josh, Alita, Greg, John, Chris, Jean, Lily, Paul, and many others that have been doing stuff to help make this event go smoothly. They've been awesome. They need a round of applause right now. So we were very fortunate this year to have an amazing response from the simulation vendor community to help be part of our exhibit hall, teach some of the classes that are going on over the next 3 days. And so we really want to thank our platinum sponsor, Level 3 Healthcare. They're right up there. They've been phenomenal, both being our platinum level sponsor and also sponsoring our open reception this evening. So a big round of applause to them. Our gold sponsors, Beeline Medical, they were kind enough to sponsor our video contest, and we're going to be doing awards for that at the end of the day today. We're actually going to get to do, you guys are going to get to vote on the People's Choice this afternoon, so that's kind of exciting. And so a big round of applause to Beeline Medical. And of course, longtime sponsors and supporters of our event, Laerdal Medical. We're actually going to be talking a little bit about some of the stuff we're doing with them a little bit later. So a round of applause for them. So we have a bunch of silver sponsors that we, again, thank them for their sponsorship. All kinds of cool stuff coming from the vendors and from the different speakers. World Point is bringing this really cool cut suit. They're doing a class later on this afternoon. That really speaks to the type of unique things we want to do here at our event. That cut suit brings a level of realism that I haven't really seen before, and it's a lot of fun to use live sort of surgery right there in your room. And really speaking of Moulage and stuff, we've got a number of different things coming from members of our community, but also a longtime supporter and attendee of our event is Moulage Concepts and Bobby Marika. Really want to thank her for her continued involvement with our events. She actually has a new product line coming out and has a couple of new courses going on, so great to have her part of the event as well. And I'd also just like to thank all our bronze sponsors, including Pocket Nerds, who actually did a scholarship for a couple of people to come to the event. So a big thanks to Pocket Nerds and the other bronze sponsors. So last year was my first time being the event director for this organization for our San Antonio event. And the biggest lesson I learned at San Antonio, when you're in charge of something, you don't have to do everything yourself. You need to delegate. I didn't do it so well last year, but I did better this year. So I really need to thank my event team. Anyone that has a little, you know, I don't have one. What does mine say? Yeah.
You delegated that.
Mine says event planning, 4th year, dork. Apparently I'm the only dork here because I haven't seen any other ones. But anyone that has the yellow staff ribbons on their badges, those people have been amazingly helpful in doing all kinds of little pieces of work and brainstorming ideas, both in the months leading up to and live here today and tomorrow and the next day. So a big thank you to all of them. So they're all around the room. If they can stand up, and we can give them a round of applause for all the work they do. Just to highlight those folks, those include members of our board who are volunteer, and it also includes volunteers from the SimGHOSTS community. And some people have been amazing stars as far as like Billy Pascal in the back right there. Anytime I give her an assignment by email, within like a couple hours, she's boom, got it. Lizzie Woolley is awesome on the board doing all kinds of stuff. And a couple people just showed up a little bit early to this event and said, we want to help out, and it's been just awesome. Amy Wise and Karen Clenny. I didn't even know Karen was here early, and she said, I'm here, I'm ready to do stuff, and so she's been fantastic. So yes, Valerie Anderson is a local. She actually came up here when I visited in May to visit the site and was really helpful with trying to get to Chicago, what things were to do downtown, helping giving a second opinion about how we should lay out different things.
Where the best beer is.
Yeah, where the best beer is, exactly. So big thanks to Val as well. What's that? Yeah, so Mark Johannek actually drove up, so he's been sort of our what's the right word? I don't want to say the right term. been our chauffeur. He's been more than happy to drive to go pick up something from Best Buy or to get someone from one hotel to another. So Mark Chang has been super fantastic. So talking about the ribbons and whatnot. So hopefully people grab different ones to stick on their badge. And some of them, the point there is to sort of highlight just a huge variety and background and knowledge that you need to do a SimTech job. And we thought that it would be nice to have those sort of as a way to start some of those conversations and get people connecting on the different ways that they interface. Really in general, what I love about this event the most, what blew me away the first time when I came to the first one in Vegas, was that, wow, there's a whole community of people dealing with the same issues that I am, and I can, be amongst peers and talk about stuff and get some great conversations. So really, I always say this, I really encourage you to walk up, meet someone new. Hopefully the badges help you think, oh, here's someone whose background is audiovisual. I have audiovisual questions, I want to talk to them, or medical, or whatever. Really just encourage you to break out of your shell and talk to someone new. We've got our open reception tonight, a great time to connect with people. Because I really think that's the thing that really makes our event special, is that we want people to connect from here and beyond. It's going to be a resource. You're going to find people that are from your area that you can start making something happen between the two centers. Really, it's just someone to call when you're having a rough day and you need to decompress and say, hey, I had to deal with this, you have any ideas? So use those badges to help sort of start those conversations, please. And yeah, don't, in the evenings, don't just go home to your hotel room and sit there and watch TV. Find someone to go grab a beer somewhere and do something. That's what we're here for, is connection. And I can attest, the first SimGHOST, I was that nerdy SimGHOST attendee who just went back to my hotel room and didn't hang out with anyone. I regretted it, so don't regret that. So another group of people that will be involved with what's going on today is, of course, all the presenters. Just a note for anyone in this room who's presenting either of today's today is we ask that when you start your presentation that you introduce yourself. We're not going to have someone introduce you. We want you to sort of say who you are, what's your background, how you kind of got into simulation as a way to, again, start those conversations about what it takes to be a SimTech. So, luckily there's back here. You guys all got a badge. Yeah, thanks. That was it, exactly. Okay, so, first thing that you have in the bag is your personalized schedule. If anything doesn't make sense there, grab one of those staff members that has the yellow ribbon. Also, it's very important that there are, a lot of the sessions that you probably saw when registering did fill up. So there's not a lot of wiggle room to move around. I ask that if there is something that you want to sort of wiggle over into, wait until the top of the hour, and if there's space, you can go in, but I don't want people grabbing other people's spots. Yes, except for the moulage, task training, and molding, math and the molding workshops. Those are locked down. Yes. On the back is a master schedule of everything that's going on. I'm going to mention a little bit, there's a slight change on some of them, where their locations are, but by and large, this is a great way to sort of know what's going on, what's coming up, et cetera, et cetera. Also in your bag is this big sheet. It has 8 different mini comment cards. There are 8 session blocks. So at each session block, after you do the survey with the clickers, we'll fill out your comments and stuff. Ask that you do that. Try to just do that as soon as possible when the thoughts are fresh in your mind. And then we'll be picking those up at the end. So if you leave early or just want to hand it in, again, grab one of those staff people. This bright yellow one, on one side is ability of logistics and value. The other side is your comments. This is overall comments. So depending on when you leave, if you're here through Friday or if you're leaving Thursday, please fill this out before you leave and get it to one of the staff people. These are really important surveys for us to help improve the event. This really helps us a lot. So please take the time to do that.
Remember, everyone, that Ryan and I are not professional event planners. It's not just a new job. It's not what we went to school for or anything. So these comments are how we improve the meeting. So if you do leave early, please fill out these things so that we can gather and learn and make this as best as it can be.
And so in the same vein, there's I got a little carried away with the colors. I tried to pull back. I was like, ooh, look, there's lilac. I need lilac and marigold. I really like color. You should see some of the documents I've made for internal use. They're way too colorful. This is about the future of SimGHOSTS. Again, just to reiterate, this is, again, a really important document for you to fill out. We're a community. We're about figuring out things together, not someone mandating it. And so if you have thoughts about how the event can be improved, how there are things that the organization can do to help the community, please put it here. I can't tell you how many different things for the event or for organizations have started from someone who attended the event said, I have an idea, we run with it, they get involved, cool things happen. And then lastly, we have our bingo cards. So, each of the vendors has a little stamp of a different animal. If you visit their table, get them to stamp their logo with their little stamp. If you fill your card, write your name on it, hand it into a staff member. We're going to have a drawing for, I can't remember which prizes do we have. Do you remember?
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars of Amazon gift cards.
Ooh, that'll get you some cool tchotchkes and electronics. That's what I do. Lots of electronics. Excellent. So again, related to the evaluations, to help us out, you see all the clickers, the turning technology clickers. We're going to be using those at the end of every session to gather the numerical data. So if you're in a session, that's going to happen at the end. And just ask that I'm going to go through the actual process after the keynote, but just so you're aware, that's how we're going to end each session, is to do that turning technology survey. Let's see, are Kyle and Jessica in here? Kyle in the back is from Turning Technology. His colleague Jessica is also around. They're going to be running about making sure that that works. So if you're in a session that there's some confusion about that, again, grab a yellow staff person and we'll get the appropriate people to take care of that. So probably people have already asked about that, but Wi-Fi access here. It's the Chest Guests Network, and I really should have. Yeah, sorry. Next is going to type up the password and get it over there. So we're at 3 different hotels, and they're all over the place. Talking to the managers of all those hotels, it's very important. If you want to go somewhere in the evening or need a shuttle at a certain time, book that early. So if you want to go somewhere at the end of the day, like at 6 o'clock, when you're leaving there at 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning, book it then, because those fill up, and I hate for people to just be sitting around in the hotel waiting for the shuttle bus to get to be available. So, related to the shuttle bus to different places. Again, since we're in a number of different hotels, there are a couple different food locations. By the Sheridan, sort of down Willow Road, there's Five Guys and Pinstripes is there, Whole Foods. There's a couple different options sort of in that area. We do have a map that we're going to send out electronically to you all to be able to know about that. Over here by the Staybridge, you can go around Lehigh Avenue, and there's the metro station to be able to get into the city. And there's also a couple different restaurants, an Indian place, pizza place. And then by the Crown Plaza, they have a list, like they go to the front desk that has a number of different places you can go, and then they have a shuttle bus to be able to get to those. So one of the things that probably has been confusing some people looking at the schedule is all the stuff about the SimGHOSTbusters. So we're doing a couple rounds of that. We're actually going to show some footage from that at the end of the day today, so you get a sense of what that is. But I just want to tell anyone that's involved in that and hasn't gone for the first round, we're going to be running those during the lunch hour today. So what I'd ask you to do, if anyone hasn't done the SimGHOSTbusters yet, that's in round 1 that I've been emailing about, after at noon, if we can meet in training room 1. So SimGHOSTbusters, there's 3 teams of 5, so there should be 15 people that show up there around noon at training 1. So I can pull up my screen and wait for you. So luckily we've only had one slight change in some of the scheduling of the spaces, and it only relates to this auditorium. So I'll look at what it is. So this afternoon, Laerdal Hardware and Laerdal Certification have switched to Auditorium B. They were originally in Auditorium A. So the media files, management movement, and inventory management have switched to Auditorium A. So it's just a flip. So anyone going to those sessions in the auditoriums, go into your room. If it doesn't look like it's the right thing, or you ask someone, what is this? It's going to be on the other side. So it's just a flip, simple flip between the two. Yeah, so this up here comes down, and that divides it into two spaces. So the Auditorium A, Auditorium C. So just those sessions, the Laerdal Hardware, Laerdal Certification, Media Files Management, Movement, and Inventory Management have flipped this afternoon. No other things. And then on Thursday, all that's flipped is that this Main Medical Center in PICU and Smooth On, Smooth Off have flipped to Auditorium A, and Gomar Harbor Repair is flipped to Auditorium B. Okay? Excellent. So related to all the auditorium rooms is what we ask you to do is when any of these big sessions, or really any sessions in the auditorium get done, there's some amount of setup that may be happening. Simulators may be coming in, tables may be moving. So when you get done a session in either of these auditorium rooms or in a big room like this right now, fully exit. Everyone's got to get out. There's about 10 minutes of time in between classes so the room can be set and things can be moved in easily. So even if you're coming back into the same room, just leave and come back so we can set the room properly. There's some big changeover in this space because a lot of simulators are going to come in sometimes. So please do that. And then the only other thing about the auditorium is that we please ask that you always exit through the back. Please don't exit through here because that goes into the vendor space and we could have some congestion and problem there with the vendor tables. Of course, unless it's an emergency. Then just get out of the building. Exactly. Yes, so again, really excited to see you all. It was amazing yesterday, a pre-symposium day. We had over half of our attendees were here yesterday for the pre-symposium sessions. The energy was palpable. I was so excited, and even though I was running around doing this and other thing, just walking through, I could see that great conversations were happening, and a lot of exciting information was being put out there. So I'm very excited, and I'm going to hand it over to Lance to talk about a couple things.
Let's give it up for Ryan Ewing, everyone. Should we empower the right guy or what, huh? Love him. I'm going to start right off with the board. SimGHOSTS started in 2011 at the Clinical Simulation Center of Las Vegas. I had some staff support there, but I was the one at the end of the day taking all the trash out. So it's grown and it's evolved, and it's amazing what's happening. The first time at this conference yesterday, just seeing that energy that Ryan was talking about was the first time that I really felt like it was way beyond anything. I was just such a small piece now, of such a small cog of this gigantic machine that's kind of really been built. And I think that's a lot due to the number of board members that came on last year. So we had some elections last year. There was, our president actually decided halfway through the year that the commitment was too much. And so we made a phone call to James, who I've been a friend with for many, many years, who I worked on with some projects when I was a SimTech in California, and he jumped on board. And not only James, but Ryan is a board member, Jackie is our marketing director, Dr. Scott Crawford, who's been helping to take care of and oversee training and the program development there. Nick has come on board and he's helping to take care of the website content and the various things going on there. Lizzie O, our secretary, has been handling all the things going on with the website and online with LinkedIn and the membership database. Ruse and the vendors helping to connect us with more of them and starting to create a vendor council so that we can engage even more with those vendors and provide for more community engagement. Really, everything that you're going to see at SimGHOSTS 2014, SimGHOSTS Busters, all these things are due to the work of the board. So I'd ask all the board members to just stand up and we can recognize them as volunteers that have dedicated many, many, many hours over the past year to make this happen here today. very much appreciate each and every one of them. So this year we're not going to hold elections. Everyone signed up for at least 2 years with regards to the initial kind of sign up last year. If you want to be a part of the leadership of SimGHOSTS with any aspect of what we're doing, all you need to do is volunteer. If you keep showing up, like Ryan did, or any of these other individuals, and then keep asking, what can I do to help, then we'll probably make you a board member eventually. So it's just that easy. I mean, we've found people that really are super passionate about not only their jobs, but this community as a whole, and it really enables us to kind of do more.
Yeah, so becoming part of the board. So the second SimGHOSTS, the second SimGHOSTS in 2012, I emailed Lance and said, I'm going to show up a little bit early. Can I help out? He said, sure. And so by the end of the first day, I was a board member. So that's how quick SimGHOSTS. And then by the end of the meeting, I was planning the next meeting.
That's how quick it happens. So it's probably a little more difficult than that now. We've got definitely a lot of people who are already kind of showing up and making those commitments, and so we really very much appreciate that. And I think that there's a lot of opportunities. So there's a lot of things that we still need help with, and I think that we're having some team meetings tomorrow, I believe. They're going to be helping to better identify some of those leadership opportunities. But if you have ideas about things, talk to all the board members. Let us know what your ideas are. We want to hear them. And if you want to see them and want to actually facilitate them, then come and talk to me and let's talk about how we can make that happen. Because I'm here to make whatever this community wants to happen. I'm just the guy that's going to spend all day, writing the emails and signing up all the checks that need to be delivered in order to make those things happen. Okay. Tom Doyle in the house. There he is. How about a round of applause for Tom Doyle for being one of our first vendor sponsors back in 2011. Tom saw what we were doing and knew that it was a good thing, and I think that we had an amazing time at the Stratosphere, but also we were able to kind of move forward from that because of his support. Didn't you jump off the Stratosphere building? That's what really got my attention. He says, "Okay, can I help?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." But he came to SimGHOSTS and he's like, "Hey, can I put the video up?" And he showed it to everyone. So he jumped on, what is it, like 60 stories or something crazy like that?
Yeah, it's almost done.
Well, we gotta watch that later. Okay, so what are some of the things that SimGHOSTS has accomplished? There's been so much. The three of us went to UK ASPE, which stands for the, let me see if I can get this right, I know acronyms. Association for Simulated Practice in Healthcare.
Standardized patient educator.
So can you two guys stand up? This is Jane Negley and Stuart. These two folks are from the UK. They're definitely the leader, two of the three of a group of leaders helping to really revolutionize the SimTech field in the UK. So I think it's absolutely amazing that we've been able to, they flew us out, we had an amazing time connecting with their board. We're working diligently to hopefully create an affiliation agreement between them, and so we can start to share and cross the divide from that continent. So round of applause for those two for flying all the way back out here and participating. So Laerdal sponsored their trip out here, so we very much appreciate Laerdal for continuing to help us connect and expand this community around the world. On the other side of the planet, we've been kind of busy here, huh? We started a meeting in Australia. It took about 3 years, and we connected with Dr. Patrea Anderson, who's here. Where are you? There she is. Come on, you guys stand up too. Susie, you guys stand up too. Dr. Patrea Anderson and the University of the Sunshine Coast were the ones that hosted SimGHOSTS, where we had 105 SimTechs from mostly Australia, but also from around the world that joined us there. So round of applause for them too. Very much appreciate the support, and it's enabled us to kind of, as you can see, start to expand the training meetings that we want to provide and the community networking that we want to do around the world. So Australia, the UK, North America. This is just the start of what we see as being an opportunity to connect all these communities together. I don't see a reason why a SimTech in Mumbai, India, and a SimTech in Los Angeles, California are reinventing the wheel with regards to the job that they're doing. Why don't we just get online and talk about it, share documentation, share best training practices, come up and develop our career path here, and we'll all be better off for it.
Who's with me?
Who's with me? So I'm very excited to be connecting and that we were able to bring you two out here. We're very happy and excited about that. Just real quick before I move on to James, last year I made an announcement to you all about a prototype that we had developed called Considerate. So what it is a ratings and review website for medical simulation products and services. This is actually a fully functioning website right now. It's live and available for anyone who has a LinkedIn account or who's interested in creating an account with a professional work email address. Last year this was just basically an idea, and 95% of you surveyed back and said that you would utilize this website. This would be helpful to you. So since launching our closed alpha in January, we've already secured over 400 users of simulation champions from around the world who've written almost 200 reviews on products and services that each one of us are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So Jackie is going to be demoing Considerate out on the floor. I definitely encourage you to check it out. I think that this is going to help to enable more of the types of conversations you're going to be able to have here amongst your peers, but again, on a global sense from all those different communities. And it's not just for simulation technicians. This is a conversation that's happening with clinical educators and administrators. Everyone has something to say with regards to this, so I definitely encourage you to check it out. It's really exciting for us. So, just real quick to talk about James. James to me is someone who I really see as a leader. Some people have called me, a thought leader in the industry, and I just want to pass that along to James. He's been someone that's been inspiring to me ever since I became a SimTech in the LA Harbor Community College District. I know that when we worked together on the DACOM, he was a strong voice for developing the roles and responsibilities for the simulation technician. And he's been a strong leader to me ever since that time. So I think it's very important that everyone understand that I'm the executive director. I make what the board wants to happen. I do have a position as a chair of that board, but what the board overall wants to happen. James is the leadership of SimGHOSTS at this point. And so if you have ideas about where SimGHOSTS could go, talk to him. He wants to know about it. He's already taking us in new directions that, I've started something and he's going to take it to the whole next level. It's going to be level 2. Speaking of level 2, audio video was just doing audio video in 20 years of audio video infrastructure and installment. Then they decided to get into medical simulation, so they had to upgrade themselves to level 3. So they're level 3 medical now. They've been our platinum sponsor here today for the opening keynote address by our president, James Seifert, as well as our party tonight. Really excited about getting a bowl and drink a few beers with all of you, maybe a few more, and have that opportunity. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up Brad, the CEO of Level 3 Medical. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Brad Peterson. I'm the CEO of Level 3 Healthcare. In the back of the room is my partner, Jeremy Elsesser. Everyone, say hi. This is our first introduction to SimGHOSTS, and I can't be more thankful and more grateful to Lance and Ryan and James and Bruce. We're having a whole lot of fun. Just in a little bit of time that I've gotten to meet some of you, I can tell you all are a group of highly intelligent, very passionate, wild and wacky and fun people, and that's exactly what we are in the audiovisual world. So we feel we're at home here. So Jeremy and I are here this week, and with some of our other people, to talk about audiovisual integration and installation and integration. So if any of you have questions, pull one of us aside, ask us a couple questions, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. So in introducing James Seifert, president of SimGHOSTS, James is the technology director at California Baptist University School of Nursing. He's had over 20 years of IT experience with certifications in MFT, MCSE, MCT, A+, and Network Plus certified. And he's currently completing work towards licensure as a marriage and family therapist. So please welcome James Seifert, President of SimGHOSTS.
I've talked in front of all types of groups, CEOs and all these executives, and I made a comment. You get that sense where you get used to something, and my adrenaline is pumping. I haven't felt this in a long time. The nervousness of getting up in front of my peers, because I can't BS you guys. Right? You guys are out there, you guys know what we all go through, it's there, so I'm really appreciating this. It's a new experience because I haven't been this nervous in a long time. I don't know really where it's coming from, but I'm just really glad to be here. The interaction between Lance and I this last year, I know that they were struggling to find stuff. We had these conversations, and I really appreciate them coming out. I didn't really want the position. That's why last year I didn't really even try to run. I wasn't really all that interested in trying to lead this and go on. I was enjoying my kind of anonymous position of run a few presentations here and there. But at the end of last year, there was, and I'm doing a family therapy session right now for SimGHOSTS. Some of the topics from yesterday really surrounded the concept of the dialogue that was happening amongst our members. And one thing I see, and when we put up all these the backgrounds, information technology, our backgrounds tend to seem, from my opinion, separate us in a large sense. It keeps us separate, and we have our own little silos. We're kind of repeating what we see in the industry, right? I hear it all the time from nurses and doctors. There's silos, and you can't break down the silos. And it's carried over here. And so when Lance first approached me, I told him I wanted full carte blanche to start moving us in a different direction. When the board interviewed me, and I said, we have to stop what we're doing with the dialogue that's going on. And we have to promote us moving forward as a unit and start talking about the job that we do. Talk about what we do, define those skills. We did that yesterday. We had a really great session on that. And then from there, develop some training that we can specifically address those gaps that are missing from everybody. Because we all are missing something. It doesn't matter what your experience is. There's something we're lacking. You can't find the perfect SimTech in one individual. We all have something that we need other people to help us with, right? So with that, once we identify that training, we can do that. Another core component is to increase the dialogue of what we're doing, and that requires research. That requires us to go out. And so what I want to do is present a little bit on dialogue, or present a little bit on research. Now, I am no expert in research or methodology, so this is very basic information. But I wanted the dialogue to start because there's people in this room that have conducted research. There's people in here that are familiar with it, work at higher levels in university, know the process of getting the review boards and having all the right documentation together. Everything from literature review to actually publishing your results. One of the things that we're excited about is that some of the organizations we're working with are already trying to start journals as text. And so we want to be able to publish to those things. We want to start generating that kind of research. So it's going to be important that we all kind of understand. So what is research? It's another word for gathering information, right? We're going to go out, gather that information. We're going to come out. It allows us to make informed decisions, make better decisions, use to find solutions to particular problems. It's important. It lends credibility to what we do, right? As an IT guy, and I think some other IT guys can understand this as well, we go around and we just do what we do. We get accolades because we're going to get something, you have someone come over and there's something wrong with the machine, you fix it, and it's the greatest thing since sliced bread that you've done this thing, and you're like, okay, well, that's just basic stuff, right? Everybody should know that stuff, right? But so we don't spend much time going around saying, okay, this is the process, this is why this works this way, this is the best practice of getting that particular thing done. We just go over, do it, get things fixed, and that's kind of what we're in, and that's just the culture of IT. SimTechs are down to kind of some of that same path. We just are kind of struggling, just trying to do what we're doing, and we don't really think about, okay, all the drudgery of doing research. But it is very important. It requires a lot of effort. It's going to require a lot of patience. It's going to require a lot of determination. You're going to have to really put in the effort to explain what we do. And from that, we can help each other, and that's what I'm really hoping for, the clarion call, if you want to call it that, for SimGHOSTS and for me, is that we need to start doing this and start communities and groups and people that can get together with each other and get that done. So basic steps, if you don't know, just look through the scientific method. I'm going to kind of quickly go through this because I have another presentation and I want to show you what I've done as far as my own research that I've attempted to do. So we're going to basically define the problem, come up with a question, formulate hypothesis. We all end with communicating the results, drawing conclusions, all that good stuff. Scientific method, you can find it anywhere on Google, right? You got quantitative, qualitative types of research. You should get to know this. We can select statistics, numerical data. When we're using computers, there's tons of information that's in the background. So if you haven't done some of that stuff, a lot of natively on computers, there's already ways of collecting data, and we just don't ever usually take the time to do it. You know, it's about tying all that data together to make it make sense, right? So as an IT guy, I know that I have access to research on errors that are happening, who's doing what on the computer. I actually collect behaviors of people off of computers just by seeing where they're point and click, and I can use that technology to track and then kind of find better ways of them to actually interact with it. So the world's wide open in what we can do as far as research. We just need everybody's ideas coming together. So you have different types: basic, applied, and developmental research. We can discover a truth about a particular topic, explore what is known, what is not known or understood, take that particular phenomenon and try to find out why it happens. Applied, taking what is already known, looking for ways to do it, and then developmental, which is actually taking some kind of product or thing and improving on it and making it useful. So that's basically the research component. I did that because I needed a shout out to say that I actually achieved some kind of research and information. What I want to do is I want to show you how I actually applied this and go from there. So I designed something pretty interesting here. I designed, I'm going to get up. Okay, it's called the, and one of the things I noticed is, and this should help you to find for you some, because I thought, okay, what is our role in the whole championship? You know, you find a champ, you know, they talk about you need a champion. You need a champion in simulation, because that individual is going to go forward and they're going to thwart all barriers, they're going to overcome everything, and they're going to go out and they're going to implement simulation. I know that's in the research all over the place, in nursing journals, and I've read most of this stuff. And what's interesting is that from my perspective, right, I took a little different take on it. So this is what I have. I did a technology response and innovative practice and non-punitive technology exchanges scale, which is the Trip-It-On Tech scale, right? And so the champion typically has this really great idea. Oh, we're going to bring simulation in, and we're going to buy it, and we're going to purchase it, and we're going to go out there, but then they don't really understand everything about and we all know this, right? We've seen this. So this scale, these are the typical reactions when I ask somebody, you know, how do you feel about technology? Right? So what I want you guys to do is I want you to quickly, just as you're looking at this, we're going to go through and I want you to write down for yourself which one of those responses most match your own reaction to technology. Right? We've got the guy that's, oh, I don't know, there's some, and then very excited guy, very scared guy, right? Put those on there. All right, so we're going to have another set of reactions. The next set of reactions, what you talking about, Willis? All right? So we have some curious, a very excited one, very scared, we've got that. Okay, so the next one. Angry guy. I've seen that a number of times, just like, what? I don't know what he's up to. I think sometimes I'm that guy. I don't know what's going on with this guy either. I don't know if he should be involved in technology. I think he's just too excited. All right, so you got your numbers written down. So what I do is I add and compare scores, real simple, right? So if you're at 4, technology is a major obstacle for you. If you have those all up, you can calculate them all out. All right? If you got 5 to 6, we go all the way down where we get 100 plus we want, which is my normal reaction when I was teaching technology. I was always say, ma'am, sir, please step away from the computer. Don't want you to hurt yourself. Don't recommend any anger management for those individuals, right? So really, in all seriousness, right, we have we have those typical kind of responses to technology. As a sim tech, no matter where you come from, one of your jobs is to help the champion, to assist those. And we had that discussion yesterday in our session. What does a sim tech do? What are they? Well, one of the major things that we do is we support those that are using the technology to educate, to do whatever. In healthcare simulation, where the mission is to educate either nurses, doctors, whoever it may be that's learning. And so we support that effort. Right? That's really probably our primary focus, is to support that effort. So for the champion, we see they're required to overcome indifference and resistance to ideas and change and it can be provoking, right? They identify with the idea, take ownership of it. That's the typical characteristics of a champion. They actively and vigorously promote the idea throughout, risk position, prestige to ensure innovative success, and a new idea finds a champion or it dies. Right? That's all from the research. Right? That's what a champion does. Now it's, okay, how does a sim tech support that effort? Because the champion's out there on their own. Typically they're there, they may have the prestige because they're a doctor or a nurse, they're going out there and they're risking everything to be laughed at or say, oh, that won't work, and all the naysayers that will come up when an innovation or change happens. Right? And the problem is a lot of the champions that are out there don't have the technological expertise to actually get it even implemented. They just know this works, they're excited about it, and so a sim tech is able to step in and cover that base for them, right? And cover that. So, champion defined, Howells and Higgins say that found that champions share personality characteristics with entrepreneurship, such as risk-taking and innovativeness and endurance. They usually can stick it through, they're tenacious, they get it done, and when they're successful, that's where it's going to implement. We've seen it happen over and over, simulations happening because of champions, right? But it wasn't an easy process. We know that there's the traditional roles in innovation. When you're actually coming out and innovating, you have the gatekeepers, right? You got project champions, business innovators, technological innovators, and user champions. Right? So as you're looking through those definitions, where does a sim tech fall in? Where can they play? Because I see it among a lot of different areas. We can play a role of a gatekeeper because we can go out and acquire the knowledge and the information about the technology, whatever it is, bring it in and share it with the champions so that they have the right kind of information. So when they're going forward, they have it all. We can help the project champions, right, that focus and present still creative ideas for information. We can provide them with that kind of information. The business innovators are usually at the higher levels, but we can support that by providing, again, that information, collecting data. Technological innovators, design and development innovations. We've seen that all over the place with our SimTechs coming out with new ways of using technology to do it cheaper, to overcome barriers where we can't spend the $180,000 or $80,000 on a mannequin, but we come up with this little way of having it do this particular thing, right? So we implement and train and provide ongoing assistance. And so we mostly fall in those two areas. Right? The technological innovators and the user champions. That's really an area where we can really shine. And especially when you have people that need to come in. Because if you're going to implement an idea, right, you're going to come out there, you have to go to those users and you have to have the same message with them and provide them the technological expertise to actually operate and feel comfortable in it. I've seen it at numerous places. We have the really nice stuff. The champions got it all bought, all there. Everybody's bought into it except for the ones that rely on the PowerPoint or rely on this, don't see that as a particular innovation. And we have to help guide them through that process. And one of the things that helps us out with that is understanding, so this is where the research for me came in, real research, right? So I'm sitting there going, okay, I got my faculty that aren't fully bought in. They kind of want to do it, but there's a technological barrier for it. They're unable to accept it. And you know what? Oddly enough, this helps us. This information right here, as I'm looking at it, helps me understand whether students are going to accept the technology or not. There's a primary way that we go through and we accept technology as useful. Most of us as IT people, we just naturally get into technology. We have that background and we're very comfortable with all the uncertainty and all over the place and the constant change that technology brings. We're very comfortable in that area. We adapt to all the changes that happen. Okay, but not everybody's like that. That's why we see resistance. When I've been on help desk forums and I've been out helping people, it's not. We all know what is that old adage, right? Every technology guy knows where the problem really exists for computers when it happens, right? Between the seat and the monitor, right? We know it's the wet virus. It's the one that is made of skin and bone that is the issue. Now that's not something we go out and just say, hey, well, you're the problem, right? Well, you're not accepted because you're the problem. That's not really, now some technology guys do that, and that's not really the right way of going about it, right? But we have to bring them up. And so the technology acceptance model, which was developed, right, it explains end user behavior and intention in using technological innovation. Based on the theory of reason to action, two primary predictors for behavioral intention are perceived ease of use and perceived usefulness. Those are two primary ways that we can assist our staff or faculty, whoever's using the stuff, to understand and implement. We are right there. If we can make it seem easy to use, and we can make sure that they feel it's useful, right, they'll use it. Those are the two best predictors of someone using a new technology, right? So in that, we should be focusing ourselves in on, well, how do I make sure that they see it as easy to use? Not only my faculty, but also my students, right? So from this, I theorize, well, okay, so let's have a pre-briefing, right? That's not really about the simulation, it's about the equipment. Right? Why not go into a whole group of new students and let's do some research and see if we have any performance increases based off of me walking in and just sitting down with them and explaining how the monitor works. Explaining how, well, so this is SimMat. Here's the little nuances that you need to know. This is why, see how it feels like this? This is what happens. When you introduce that, right, it's just from a different point of view. Right? And it makes sense, and that's the combination. So we now have a new way of thinking about it, and this ease of use and usefulness is helpful not only for the end user, the students, but also the instructors, because they won't use it if it's not easy. And that goes back to a PowerPoint presentation. Well, most of them are using PowerPoint because they've been around for so long, and everybody's kind of just gotten used to it, right? But if it's not, it has to take that point where we can overcome their resistance by making it seem easy to use. And we know as IT techs, there's never going to be a day where you just hit a button and everything just happens, right? Because there's a lot of stuff that happens in the background. But for them, that's what has to be happening. That has to be, push this button, everything goes, and this button, everything goes, and it meets their objectives. Because all they need to be sure of doing is meeting their objectives. They have their own objectives. They don't have the time to sit there and try to learn a whole new process, right? So we have to make it as easy as possible, make it so that it seems like it's useful, show them that benefit. So there's two ways of achieving that, right? You got to go out and actually have set out instruction. I spent a lot of my time sitting down. Now, I had one issue at my place. Unfortunately, we had these control units for all the overheads, right? And for whatever reason, the way they designed it, they put the amps down at the bottom of the control unit. So every night, someone's vacuuming and they're running over the black switch to turn off my amp, which shuts off all power. So then the next morning I come in and the sound's good. You don't have any sound. So you go, and I would get caught by it every once in a while because I'm sitting there, okay, why is it trying? I'm like going through the basic stuff, right? Because you always do that. If you're doing any kind of troubleshooting, you start with the stupidest, most simple thing you can think of, and you start there because you don't want to miss that one stupid thing, right? So I go through, and that's at least 10 minutes of my time, right? And then it's this goofy amp. At some point, my fix for that was, okay, we're going to make it as easy as possible to use. So I'm going to put bright pink duct tape over the top of the switch that leaves it open that says, do not touch. Right? Big technological advancement, right? But it did make it easy to use, and they were able to, and you know, obviously they have to work on the perceived usefulness, because obviously having sound is useful, right? But I was able to make it easy to use. That's the kind of stuff. When we start thinking in a certain way, when we have a theory of why we act the way we do, why we do things, there's something called a golden circle. Most of us can explain what we do. We can explain how, you know, and then it takes a little bit more advancement. You can explain how you do it, right? What I do and then how I do it. Those are pretty in the realm of most people. Very few people can actually explain why they do something, right? That's not, we don't think about that very often. Why are you doing what you're doing? And it does help to have some kind of theory of why you're doing something. It does help to, why am I doing this particular process? And it will help guide you in what your goals in going out there. So I wanted to introduce this technology acceptance model. The references are on here. You know, perceived ease of use, some of the key factors for it. If it's too cumbersome, if it's too difficult to use, these things would help out our manufacturers. They'll help out anybody when we're talking about information. Is it easy to learn? Is it frustrating? Is it controllable, rigid, and flexible? Right? We've learned when I was doing, when we're designing our new building, one of the big key points that we talked about were flexibility. Because the original design was very inflexible. Man, they had it what it was, and that's it. And if I wanted to make any changes, that's why I had to do a lot of sneaker net, right? The kind of stuff where I'm walking back and forth, and I'm trying to orchestrate everything because it was so rigid. So I had to do all these workarounds to get something done. So this kind of stuff has to happen, right? I mean, so if you're building a new building, you're setting something up, something new happening, you got to think about all these things way, way before they purchase something, anything's even installed or anything. You've got to know, you have to be able to answer all these questions, and you want that information from the manufacturer. So when I'm going in and I'm giving a report on, okay, here's this new model of something that they want to bring in, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do all this, because this right here is going to make my job easier or more difficult. Because if they see it and they go, oh, this will be really useful. But if they don't need this, then it's not going to be used. It's going to sit there and not be used. So now you're thinking in a different way. What does a SimTech do? Well, we make the technology easy to use for our staff that want to do something. That's a paradigm shift from where we've been at, right? Oh, I'm a nurse, I'm a doctor, I'm this, I'm that. This is our back. This is what's best for this is the best, way of becoming a SimTech. Right? This is the background you need. Really, we're about whoever's the best at making technology seem easy to use is going to be your best SimTech. That's a background that you really need to focus on. And when you're looking for someone to hire, when you're looking, those are things that need to be addressed. Can they do those things? Right? So, perceived usefulness, key factors, improves the quality of work, gives more control over work, so if we're at a little higher level when you're making decisions. Is it efficient, speedy, productivity increases, critical to your job, improves job performance, useful, accomplishes more work. All those are the basic things that make something seem more useful. And then if it's useful for that faculty member, if you're actually going to go make an argument, like if, well, we're going to attend SimGHOSTS next year, right? You want to convince your work that they're going to pay for you to come out to the conference. Well, those will all be very good things to address on getting out here. Correct? So, my hope for you guys, the related factors on this, when we talk about how this can be put in supporting your champion, supporting your faculty, supporting your organization and where you're at. The whole point is to make you more valuable in that position, make our whole industry more valuable as a group, and we need to have common language in how we address this stuff. So whatever it is, this is just one sample. There's other things that are out there, but this is what research can do for us, right? I can take research, I can go spend time, and I can go and I reviewed 20 articles on what champions were, on what the technology acceptance model was, and I found all this information, and I came to these conclusions as I'm sitting there thinking about what is my role. And that's really all research is. It's about coming up with a question, an idea about some phenomena, and gathering the information, and then, you know, publishing your results. In between there's a bunch of stuff that, you know, designs, instruments that have to happen, and that's where we can get help from people that have done it before, experience. We go and ask them, okay, this is what I'm having this issue. You know, I need help. Can you help me design something that will let me prove that this is what, we all have these ideas, right? So we need to work together and get it and getting that all put in. And it's going to help us in all these areas, right? So when we talk about who we can reach out to, right? We get our commitment from our management that, hey, this is going to be important for me, right? That's going to be your deans, whoever it is. Your social group, we're the social group. That's your sphere of influence right here. We have this group, and we can actually champion each other, right? And that's what the blogs are. We want you involved on the LinkedIn discussion boards. We want you out there asking questions, put to the questions to the community, and then start coming up with research ideas and components, right? And individually, what you're going to do from this is you're going to have self-efficacy, personal innovativeness, working on yourself to be more innovative, be self-reflective, looking at what you do, be critical about it, right? And you'll be able to actually enjoy yourself more. The job will become a lot easier, especially if things are easier to use and you've done all the footwork ahead of time. You get that out. That's the end result we want to see in anything we do. Is we want to make sure our jobs are we're not overwhelmed, we're paid well, we want all of that stuff. So my call to everybody, right, is to describe what the role of a technologist is, a simulation tech. We specialize in technology. I say that, you know, beyond just, because I wouldn't recommend just any IT individual, and I'm only speaking for myself as far as my understanding of IT, that just having a background in that, and that's where I'm being self-critical, right? I know where I was when I first started and where I'm at now. I go, but the interpersonal relationships, the underwriting personality traits and those things are much more important than the actual role that someone has. Because just because you have an IT background doesn't make you going to be a great person to teach someone how to use technology, right? So we want to make sure we're looking at that. But interpersonal relationships, I think, is a core component of what we do. First of all, because while we work with the technology, we're also training others in how to use it. We're also interacting with people on all different levels, and that means we have to really have a core understanding of what it is to communicate with another human being and have that interaction. So interpersonal skills, if you want to develop yourself more, seek out those interpersonal skills. Look at the research on that. Identify your core skills, the things that you're missing, and add to them. Okay? We run the roles of gatekeeper, technical innovator, and user champion. We acquire, translate, and distribute external technological knowledge and advancements to colleagues. We design, develop, gain, and maintain mastery of the innovations that we have in front of us, the technology innovations. We implement, train, and provide key technical support and assistance. So those are the core of what a SimTech does, right? And we've had it defined all over the place. So at the end of this, I put a couple scenarios together that I thought, one would be a failed experiment, one would be the next. So this is what we can go back. So if I was going to talk to a champion that was and they wanted this new innovation, the individual envisions using some new technological advancement that might help, brings IT to a centralized or distant IT department. IT sees every roadblock and reason why weaken security, cause more issues, cost. Healthcare has difficult time convincing the disconnected department to buy in and to provide support. Unable to explain how the integration could happen, project stalls, innovation dies. Right? You add in a technologist, a SimTech. Individual envisions using some technological advancement that might help. Brings the idea to local simulation technologist who understands not only the technology but everything it will take to get it done in a way that is acceptable to IT. Simulation tech conducts some research, comes up with the basic plan of implementing it, presents the concept along with the champion to centralized IT, explaining and providing answers to concerns, champions the necessity for the innovation and how it can be achieved within the internet working environment without compromising security. Innovation may not happen, but groundwork has been done to mitigate IT opposition. I know because I do this all the time. Right? That's been my role. I communicate with those that will put the roadblocks to a technological advancement. I research it, find out how it can be implemented, and then we get it done. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So really, the champion, the non-technical champion, is empowered by knowledge and capable technologists who can smooth innovation blockades that typically arise from IT concern on that one aspect. There's others. That was just my little basic research and what I came up with in that short time. You guys can all do the same thing. You go to a university website, you get to their research journal articles, get access to all that stuff, start reading and making yourself knowledgeable. Come out, have your idea, and then publish the results. Start off with LinkedIn, throw those ideas out there, and we can start getting together. That's really what I hope for the future of IT, for SimTech. Let me see where we're at. So I'm hoping you guys all get that. I know we're running. We're supposed to be done at what, 9:30? We've got a technological innovation here that we're going to be using. We're going to get to use it here in the back. It's these little. I'm going to ask them to come up and set our survey up as I'm finishing up here. You got someone that can set that up? Yeah, I'm going to get that. I just wanted to get that prepared for the end. So, like Lance said, I want to hear them. I want to change the dialogue on our LinkedIn posts. I want people to move away from the concept that nursing, I'm this, I'm that, and start talking about common skill sets, things that we need, the gaps that we need, and really identify that. We had a really great session yesterday identifying a core set of skills that we think that encompass what we need, at least at the beginning. And we're going to continue that conversation through 2 more sessions. And so by the time one of the deliverables we're hoping to have at the end of this is we're going to really have a lockdown on those core skills and a curriculum set, or at least an idea and an outline of curriculum, a framework for curriculum, so that when you come here, we're going to have some core curriculum that if you go through that curriculum, we know you'll be set for that area. So if you're missing IT, we'll set something up that when you come to a session like this, you'll be able to, at the end of it, we're going to assess you, do the whole thing, and you'll be prepared, at least at certain levels, for that gap that you're missing, whether it be IT, whether it be AD, whether it be medical and healthcare background, theater, whatever it is. And that's really the goal of SimGHOSTS for the future, is to really start providing that core curriculum and training. And not afraid to go and do it with the, I think, CHAOS, right? Or the SimGHOSTS, and design whatever curriculum we are towards those things, whatever certification process is out there. We're not going to concentrate so much on the certification. We're going to concentrate on the training and make sure that you have everything that you need. Is there any questions as I finish up here? Is that good? Just thorough? Okay, good. I just want to first, as I finish here, I want to thank Lance for all the work he's done for the last 4 years and 5 years of getting this developed. And I just, on a personal level, because I came here 3 years ago and Lance and I had met, and I came here and I really didn't know what it was all about. I started the job, but something that's always impressed me with this group is it's just coming here and being able to be around other people that do what I do and get it, right? And have all the same struggles or going through the same thing. And I really appreciate how many pink badges I'm seeing, all the new faces that we have here. And I want you to understand that we're here for each other. There's not a single board member that we have for SimGHOSTS or volunteer that won't go out of their way to help you. So don't be afraid to send an email. You will get a response back. Whatever issue you're having, we want to help. That's what SimGHOSTS is going to be about. It's about this community and about helping each other. And I really want to give Lance a round of applause because he's stepped down. He's taken a little bit of a backseat. He's allowing his baby to be taken over by the likes of me, which I don't know if that's the best decision or not, right? But he's really taken a backseat, and for the benefit of our organization. He's really recognized that he has to move into a new chapter of SimGHOSTS, And so just everybody give him a round of applause. As we move forward, me especially, any email, any communication, I really want the communication. Feel free to contact me. And one of the exciting things that are going to happen here shortly, what I've been doing in California, one of the efforts that I wanted to kind of let you guys know about is we're looking to create localized chapters. It's been in the thought process. I'm working with some volunteers in California to create a SimGHOSTS collaborative so that when we leave these areas that we can actually provide more support throughout the years. So that you're not just leaving here and we have the online content, but actually localized support for each other, creating that synergy amongst the local groups. And so if people are interested in their local areas on that and want to keep continuing on that process, go ahead and contact me and I'll give you updates and I'll keep you informed of what we're doing with that, because we want to model it all over. We're now a global organization. We're all over the place, and we're continuing to grow, and it's just going to benefit us all. So I want to thank you guys and enjoy the festivities, right? Okay. Thank you.